Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got one from Bon Jovi today. We're looking at how to play their classic Runaway. Getting quite a few requests for this one, so about time I jumped on it. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, ring the notification bell, of course, so you'll know when I release a new video. And check out my Guitar Academy, very important. Link is in the description. Got all my guitar courses there, and you can kind of see if you like anything that I do here. All my guitar courses I think you would enjoy as well. So please go check it out. All right, so for Runaway, we're in standard tuning. And kind of done a lot of research how Richie actually plays this stuff because, you know, people play it differently, myself included before, kind of like, you know, but he does things a little bit different position than you would probably think he would. So we have this beginning that's a dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that is what we can consider the intro. When the vocals come in, that's really the first verse. And the first verse is kind of the same chords, but just done differently than the second verse. But so what he's doing is he hits the low E open, then the A power chord. So instead of going, which would be fine too, I mean, no big deal. A little bit easier to play maybe. But he does it down here in open position. And then he goes to a G power chord, but not like that. He has the open position power chord. So he has that open E again. And he plays then the third fret on the low E string and mute the A string there. And then let the open D and G ring. So I have this. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that has a more open sound than that. So that's how he plays it. And then there's that little dive harmonic, which is just a harmonic at the 5th fret of the G string. And then the whammy bar dive there. And then we go back to the same riff. And then instead of the harmonic, nice little pick scrape there. Ruin your pick, and then we'll move on. So let's go now to verse 1, which is basically this. So once again, a lot of open position chords there. So that when the vocals come in, you do that same thing, but you let the A ring. And then it goes to that G chord. From there we go, hit the 3rd fret on low E to the open E power chord. Then that open E to the F power chord at the 1st fret of the low E. So we have this. And then from the F, we go to that, to really hit the E string, 1st fret, to that G power chord again. So we have this. I don't know the lyrics. And then we go back to from the G to that A. And then we get the full band kicks in and we start like the second half of the verse with the actual letting the chords ring. So it's just that A power chord, then to the G power chord, to the E power chord, hold it, don't do the F, and back to the G. You can just really play the low 3rd fret there on the low E string, and kind of shake it, and then we have this. So it goes to the A string, and it goes 0, 2, 3, 2, over to 3 on the low E to the A power chord. So all together for that second half of the verse. So after that A power chord, come up here to the double stops here at the 5th fret of the D and the G. You hit those a few times. So all together for the verse, with the first verse. All right, so that's the first verse. It's going to be a little bit different. Same chords in the second one, but we're just going to let them ring more. So then in the pre-chorus, the pre-choruses are slightly different. This first one's slightly different from the other ones at least. So this looks like this. The chorus. So that starts with harmonics across the 12th fret on the high E, then the B, then the G, and then the D. And then do some just slight whammy bar on it. Then you're going to take it down here to the 5th position. You're going to go bar across the 5th fret of the high E, the B, the G, and then jump up, and instead of, you'll see some people go, it's the same note, I know, but he actually plays it as a harmonic at the 12th fret on the A string. So that last note, and then some whammy bar on it. So that's the only time he does that though. And then we have this. Let them ring together. So we have the 7th fret on the G to the 7th fret on the D harmonic, then back to that 7th fret on the G harmonic, to a C power chord, another pick scrape. All right, so the whole pre-chorus there. All right, now we get to the chorus, and there's really, John Bon Jovi plays a lot of rhythm guitar on this here, especially you hear it during the chorus here. So we have what Richie Sambora plays first, was like this. So that's the first chorus there. That's Richie Sambora. You'll notice that he doesn't go. He doesn't do that up here. He does just kind of the top of it, piece of it there. So, so we had this start with the A power chord, and then when you get there, you can just play the 3rd fret there on the low E there, chugging on it. Then we have this little melody. So that's 3 on the A string, then 2, 0, 2, O to 3 on the low E. So this. Now from there we go to an A power chord, and then we have this. So that's just the 2nd fret there on the D and the G together. Just those 2 strings, hit that a couple times, then the open D and G, and then back and forth a couple times. So with this. So all together so far. And then he does a little slide down the low E, and then you're gonna back on that 3rd fret there, some just kind of 8th note palm mutes. And then the E5 power chord, open E power chord, hit twice. She's a little runaway. All right, now, kind of a guitar part going with this, what John Bon Jovi will play live, is he just kind of plays the, so he starts at that, or he can just do it. Kind of something like that. So you can just start with the A power chord, then go the full G power chord. While, or you hit it like that. And then when you get to the C, full C power chord, and then E power chord, then back to the G. And then while Richie Sambora does this, he'll do this. So it's just at that A power chord, or just the single low 3rd fret there on the low E, the G note. Kind of back and forth between notes. And then once again. So back to that. Instead of going the open, just a single note, he's playing the full power chord. She's a little runaway. All right, then we have verse 2, which we're letting the chords ring out a little bit more in the first half of it than verse 1. So we had this. All right, so that starts with that A power chord. To the G power chord, let it ring. And then to the open E power chord. And the F. So this, basically the first half of the verse each time, we have that F in there, which we don't have before. So So it goes to F to the G, and then to the A. That same riff that we did in the verse earlier. Those same double stops. And then the same chorus pretty much again, just without that F. So just hit the E, don't go to the F, just hold it, then straight back to the G. And that same ending. Now, this second pre-chorus is just that little harmonic is the only thing that's different. So we have this is the same. And then here, instead of going like this, we do this. Which is just all fretted notes. So the high E string, and the bar across the 5th fret, pick high E, B, G, and then back to that note on the high E. Then the same harmonics after that. And then it goes, from there, it goes back to the same chorus and stuff before. And so out of that chorus is pretty much the same thing, except instead of going 2 hits at the end, it's just 1 hit there. All right, so she's a little runner. All right, now from there we have the solo. Now before I play the solo, we actually have a different rhythm guitar part underneath that. So the rhythm guitar part, the chords underneath that are this. let's just kind of repeat those chords. So we just start that while it's doing it. You just hit the A power chord with it. And then from there, just the chords when the solo starts, kind of just strumming the A power chord, then the C power chord, the 3rd fret there on off the A string, and then the 5th fret. Then back to the A power chord, then back to the C power chord on the 3rd fret, and then move it over to the G power chord off the 3rd fret of the low E string. So that's it. Just repeat that. All right, so now let me play through Richie Sambora's solo for you real quick, and then I'll show you how to play it note for note. So here we go. Alright, so we're going to start here with some unison bends. We're going to 5th fret there on the B string, then the 7th fret there on the G. So 7th fret on that note on the G string, you're going to be bending that up a whole step till it matches that note on the B string. Then let the last one ring, and we have. So from there, we have this 5/8 on the B string. So at that 5/8 on the B string, bend and release at the 7th fret on the G, over to 5 on the G, 7 on the D, and then play 5, 7, 5 on the G. Alright, now from there we have this. So kind of the same thing. It starts again. It plays that 5/8 again, and then you play 5. You play 7 there, and then quick little trill between 5 and 7. So you gotta make sure you don't forget that bend. So let me just play it in context here. Okay, so you do that little bend and release, that little trill, and then that's 7 on the D, play 5 on the D, slide down to 4, over to the 5th fret on the A string twice. Then we have 3, 5. This. All right, so we have this 3, 5 on the A. Then you're gonna hit that 3 twice. Over to 5 on the low E string. So. All right, from there we have this. The double stop here at the 5th fret on the G and the B, over to 7th fret on the D. So this. Then up here, we have 8th fret on the high E string, over to the 5th fret there on the B string. All right, so after we had this, it then goes to here. So that's kind of sliding into the 10th fret there on the B string, roll over to the 10th on the high E, back to the 10 on the B. So that is a half step bend and release at the 12th fret on the B string. Go do it a couple times. Then you pick it again. Another bend and release. Over to 10 now on the B. Over to 12 on the G. Then we go back. We're going to do a bar at the 10th fret across the B and the high E string. You pick those two notes and hammer on the 12th fret of the B. Then you hit those two notes together, the 10th fret on the E and the 12th fret on the B a few times. Back to the 10 on the B and then the 12 on the G. So. All right, next phrase. All right, so we're gonna, that is gonna be the 20th fret on the B string, then the 19th fret on the G. And when you pick those together, it's an oblique bend, so one note stays the same, the other one bends up. And that's gonna be the 19th fret on the G string is gonna bend up. So it is. Release. Pull off to 17, and then over to 19 on the. All right, now we have this kind of quick series of licks that move up the fretboard pretty quick. It looks like this. So we have, first one is actually 3 notes, and then they're all 2 notes after that. So the first one is sliding into 7 on the D, 5th fret on the G, back to 7th fret on the D. All right, now from there, it's going to be 2 note licks. Keep moving up. So we're going to go slide into the 5th fret there on the G, roll over to the 5th fret there on the B. So we hit this. And then 2 more notes. That's going to be sliding into 9 on the G, over to 8 on the B. Then slide into 14 on the G, into 13 on the B. So now here the fingerings get a little pretty consistent here. So that's sliding into 17 on the G string, over to 15 on the B. Then sliding into 19 on the G string, up to 17 on the B. And then slide into that 17 there on the B and play 15 on the high E. And then slide into 20 on the B string, over to 17 on the high E. So you notice he's always sliding in wherever note was the second note in the phrase, he slides to that on another string, or the same string. So you see simple right there. So. All right, now the ending lick looks like this. All right, so it's a good slow play through there. So we have this little, so after this, so after that bend on the B string, you just go 17, 19, 20, 19, 17 on the high E. Back to 20 on the B string. All right, now from there, we have this kind of a hammer on from 17 to 19 on the high E, pull back off to 17. Over that 20 on the B string, and then go back up through the scale, 17, 19, 20, 19, 17 on the high E. So we this. Now when we get to the note that, again, there, the 20th fret on the B string, what you do is you go back and forth between 20 on the B to 17 on the high E twice. Then you play the 17 on the B, roll over to the 17 on the high E, and then pull off 20 to 17. So we have this. Then play 19 on the G, back to 17 on the B, and then we have bend and release to the 19th fret on the G, and play 17, then 19, 17 on the D. Then we play the 19th fret twice on the G. So after this, we play 17 twice on the G, and play 19, 17 on the D, and then we pull off 19 to 17 on the D and play 19 on the A twice. So the whole lick right there. All right, so that takes us back to the pre-chorus, which is the same as the second one. So that one with this, that figure instead of the harmonic up there. And then we're into the last chorus. I'm not going to be doing like the outro solos or anything here. It's kind of low in the mix anyway. But the chorus riff is slightly different here. So we have this. Got that little fill in it. So the same thing, but when we do this, instead of doing that full thing, it stops there and does this. So that's 0, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2 on the A string, over to the 3rd fret there on the A. Then it starts over. I mean, sorry, 3rd fret on the low E, sorry. So really when he's doing that, all that falsetto stuff, that's the riff that's going on underneath it. All right, until that just kind of fades out there. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a classic, early Bon Jovi, and it's got a lot of requests, so hopefully you guys will enjoy learning it. All right, I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.